I don't know about you, but when my life felt like it was falling apart in the last 12 months, I didn't really know what to do. I was used to being a manifestation girly. I'm a manifestation coach. I teach my clients how to grow to six figures and beyond, manifest relationships, their lives. I work with the quantum laws of the universe, astrology, dimensions, time travel, you name it, I do it. That is why my company is called The Cosmic Co, because we get cosmic. But I arrived back in Australia after living in the UK for 18 months because I was coming back for a wedding, and the universe said to me, oh no, you are moving back. And she said, don't get too attached to anywhere. And I was like, okay, well, that's worrying. And I had a 3-bedroom house, and it was beautiful, and really felt like I was building a home, but I did feel really lonely, and it was very cold because it was England, even though I'm English. And I'd spent $20,000 on all of this furniture. And you could be like, Betty, it's material, it doesn't matter. You know what? It is and it isn't, because in astrology, I'm a Taurus North Node. My purpose in life is to create a stable, safe feeling home. I don't feel like I had that growing up. It was very emotionally volatile, unsafe. I had a whole bunch of sexual trauma growing up, so I have felt unsafe in most places. So when I created this beautiful space, I was like, you want me to freaking leave? So constantly, I'm always asking every day, show me my highest timeline. And to do that, if you want something that's a certain, like say you're asking for something that's 1,000 watts of light, but your vessel, your body can only hold 60 watts of light, then you are gonna currently meet different situations, different things in your life so that you can learn wisdom and have a higher capacity to hold the frequency that is needed for what you're trying to manifest. So when I get these big urges, they look crazy to everyone else, but I'm like, we're in the business of the universe. I listen, and so I moved. And I was coming back for a friend's wedding, and I hadn't seen a whole bunch of my best friends. And I've got like friends from the tech community that I did, and I love it. And it was that community. And I've got friends like my spiritual soul sisters, and I was so excited to see them too. But for this wedding, I was very excited because I knew I was going to get to hang out with my besties while we celebrated another bestie. And it was amazing. But I thought I was just going for 3 weeks, but no, I was moving back. So I moved back, and it feels very weird being back here. I've sold everything. I only have one suitcase. And yeah, so I'm at the wedding, and I'm sat with one of my male friends, and we'd always been very good friends, and I got hit with something out of nowhere that I've never been hit with before. It was like, and I had like the love heart emoji eyes. It was like a cartoon. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Nothing happened at the wedding. There was definitely vibes. But I spent the next few weeks rocking backwards and forwards being like, what is this? So that's all happening. But in the meantime, in the real world, things started playing out, and we went shopping for him for his outfits. I'm sure that was a ploy. So we go out, we go to some bars. There was no shopping, only shopping for cocktails. And we had a whole bunch of cocktails, and then he kissed me, and I was like, woo! And everything was like, woo. And then the next day he was like, I don't think this is right for our friendship. And I was devastated. And I really didn't understand why, because I'm like, we're just friends. It's just a kiss. What is going on? Anyway, so I speak to God a lot, and I see God as a woman. They are beyond gender. And I'm speaking to her on one of my many walks. I call them Godcasts. And she shows me a vision of me and this guy. We have a kid, and I didn't even know if I wanted kids at this point. And then I was freaked out by that too, because I have been in 20 years of toxic relationships because you accept the love you think you deserve and you play it out and the same things that you've been brought up with. And so I had attracted somebody quite emotionally unavailable. He had just as much fear. I'm older. I think he thought that I had certain needs and requirements, and I do. I think I didn't quite realize them. And that scared him, and I got it because he was figuring his life out. I just moved back anyway. Turned into this situationship. So the next few months go by, and it's on and off. We both can't really get a handle of it. It's, I think, activating and triggering both of us. But I haven't been single in, 20 years. So I didn't really know, what a situationship was. And I was like, how does a friend treat me like this? And what I didn't realize was that I was creating and manifesting that because I was emotionally unavailable and I wasn't ready for a relationship yet. But everyone was seeing these visions, and it was very scary. So I was hiding this. But I told a girlfriend who had been his friend originally and ended up telling him And he had known the whole time because he knows I'm witchy. And I think that equally terrified him too, as it fucking would. Because it's like, not only are you friends, and it was kind of information that was too soon, because normally when I see these things, I don't tell people things, because you can't be telling people, oh, I saw this, because it's based on a timeline, it's not the timeline. Do you know what I mean? So eventually we decide it makes sense to just be friends, to stop seeing each other, except we can't stop kissing each other when we see each other and everything else. And I was like, do you know what? I need to become detached from this and learn self-concept and teach myself, you know, and this is what I had to learn: more self-worth, more detachment from things. So I'm listening to Detachment Subliminals, get them on YouTube, they're amazing. I want to make my own, which rewired my mind to not be attached to the outcome of this, because I'd seen it and I knew strongly that it would happen and it would be a proper relationship in a timeline, but I had to be unattached. And on the day that I became detached was the day that he realized that he did like me and he wasn't scared. But by this time I was moving on and dating other people. And I think I was turning 40 last year, and it was like this big portal, and him and I were on a walk, I think, a week before, and I said, not everyone's coming through this portal with me to the new decade. And he said, what about me? And I was like, well, you're here. Like, you're here. So we're on this walk, and, you know, we're being friends, we're still flirty as fuck. And at the end of it, I don't know why, but I kind of said, hey, like, I'm still finding this really hard to just be friends. And God had told me, he's going to realize today and tell you that he feels the same. And I said this to my friend that I was living with, and she was like, stop getting your hopes up. And I was like, I know it in my heart. It had sometimes when a knowing drops into my body, I fully know it. And because you embody it. And he was like, I'm so glad you said this, because I've been thinking and feeling the same. And I was like, whoa. And that really like showed me the power of manifestation in a different way, because not that you can manifest somebody, but you can. You know, like, everyone's got free will. You're not like casting spells on them or anything. And so we started talking about what it looks like to not fuck this up and put the friendship first and all of this stuff. So we called it a trial, and we went on our first date last October. And this is when, like, from the last May with the situationship was when my business started going wrong. And I was like, I couldn't work it out what it was. There was different parts of chaos in my life. There was also an entity attached to me through my friend's ex-partner that, you know, can become attached. And I was living in fear, so it was easier for it to detach. We only got rid of that 2 months ago, and then different things started flowing in. I needed to feel safer about where I lived, and like creating a space where I felt like my emotional regulation was good. And then that happened. So there was different facets in it, but I still couldn't get to like, why is this business not working? So what had happened was I'd manifested being full-time on my business with Cosmic. Like, I wasn't getting any muggle work, any brand strategy or marketing work anymore for love nor money. But then I wasn't able to show up. So it's like, I wasn't showing up on camera. I was avoiding doing podcasts, anything where I had to be seen, because of the way that I grew up. And anytime that I was a bigger personality, anytime that I had to show or try and receive love, it was through achieving, and I didn't want to achieve anymore, so I wasn't showing up. I just realized that. It's just like therapy, guys. So we get rid of the entity. That's number one. Had to do some ancestor work around, you know, money wounds. My family also has a lot of money wounds, so I've been clearing those. But it all came up when the situationship started. So this relationship, even though it was so painful, was a massive part of this for me. And what a gift to raise my consciousness this way. But it was hell. It has been hell. Not knowing where I can live or what decisions I can make because the money wasn't coming in, because my heart chakra hurt so much, and that's the chakra of money and receiving. There was also some stuff around my business when I had an app called Woo Woo that was going pretty well, and I'd built it with an ex, and that wasn't going well, and the energy of that was quite traumatizing. There was a lot of stuff around finances there as well, and it was all just related that whenever there had been love and relationships for me, like in my family, there was also financial abuse from the male. And so it was very entwined. So there's been a lot of healing around that. And there's so many layers to this, and I'll probably do I didn't even intend this to be this long. But the point is, there is no point. All of it's rambling, but it's not rambling. I went to an ayahuasca retreat 2 weeks ago, and you know, a lot of the time when I've been talking to God, she's like, you've got this all wrong. It all comes back to love. You are focusing on the wrong things. And I was like, okay, I don't know what that means. And in this relationship, when I could no longer live where I was living before because of finance, my now partner was like, why don't you come stay with me? And so he has been like such a protection and provider and letting me stay here. And through that, I've been getting extra bits of work, and I've started to settle into receiving, because it's all about receiving in the heart as well. So if you can't receive love, then you can't receive money. And if you're not showing up, like, how are you going to help people? Like, all of this stuff was linked. And so I've been doing a lot of work on my womb as well, because I might want kids in the next few years. So, and I know there was a lot of period pain, and that's the center that holds trauma and, you know, creativity and the portal to all of the things. And I was working on that. And then ayahuasca, it came up, like, I saw how much love was in that room and how much love I had never really received. I have through my friends, and that's incredible, but I've only really known that in the last few years. I've never really felt it from family or the relationships that I was in. So I'm feeling all this, and I'm like, I had so much grief. I was crying for like 6 hours, because you also do wachuma after ayahuasca, which is a heart opener, and you'll feel everything. And the shaman was like, you're going to laugh and cry at the same time. And that was very true. And I realized I can only be around love now. And it's not always going to happen, but in my relationships. And I had communicated that. But even communicating that's very scary, because my inner child's like, ugh. So we communicated that. And then we both said we loved each other. And at first, I didn't feel it. I was very like, because it's not been safe before. And then I've really been leaning into it in the last few days and softening. And then God was like, that's what I meant by you need to put love first. Because once you learn to receive love for exactly who you are, you'll show up more for exactly who you are, hence why we're doing this. And you'll then start to receive abundance and money, because all of this is going to help people who will then want you to help them. Because I realized I've, like many people, had father and mother wounds, but the father wound was showing up through in the past over hustling, doing too much, but not necessarily doing the right things, and not always showing up in my quiet self and my loud self. I can be very eccentric and extravagant, but also very quiet and nerdy. And either way, behind that is an intelligence and a depth. And I don't always show up on here with that either. And I want to. And I think one of the best ways I do that is through storytelling and teaching through storytelling, which will be my way. So sharing my life like I've just done. So maybe there's bits of this that help you, but through doing the womb work, through doing the plant medicine, these are all modalities of manifestation. Manifestation isn't just like vision boards and pink girly pop culture. It's part of that too. I love that too. But it's also shadow work, and it's embodying, and it's deep, and it's ugly, and you'll cry. And this is also the work I do. So I came here to show this now very long story time. I don't even know if this fits on TikTok. It might be a YouTube video. Should have just done it on Zoom, to be honest. But I was just eating some soup and I was messaging my friends, and I was like, I need to make this a post. And so it's all messy. It's never perfect. But what's come up for me in the last year is it was working on each things, but it needs to be fast tracked, because the time is coming for me to show up, to be seen, to help, so that the cosmic weirdies like me that feel like they're too much and realize that they're not too much, that no one is perfect. So, you know, I will help you, yes, work with versions of you in timelines, heal your past life, your future self, jump through different portals to get there, work with your blueprint, your astrological blueprint to get there. But it's also shadow work. There may be entities and demons, and we clear those too, and it's all part of it. And I am not perfect, and it has been difficult, but I think me sharing this with you can help. And I think it's going to help my business. I think it also is going to help, because I said I'm no longer taking shit from anyone that wants to hurt me. So like people in my family that I've never dared to cut off, I'm minimizing contact. We'll see where that goes. I'm still integrating from the ayahuasca. Still healing all of it. But yeah, it's going to help with the visibility wounds that I have. I think it certainly makes sense now. If I learn to receive love, then I learn to receive money. I learn to be loved for who I am, so that I can I do love who I am, but you know what I mean? So that I can be seen in all facets of what that looks like, so that my people can find me and I can help you. So if this resonated, you can book one-on-one sessions with me. It's live coaching, shadow coaching. it's business coaching, anything you need, I have different frameworks for that. And I also have a manifestation membership called My Season that helps you step into your main character era, creating your best life. But we do go dark as well. There is no light without the dark. So I hope this helped.